Welcome to part number 2 of the Metroid Zero mission 9% run. In this video we're going to collect the power grip as well as the ice beam. At this point we have to exit Brinstar and then head to Norfair and then Crateria, the new area added in the remake. Yay! I don't know. I really do like this remake over the original Metroid. I think the original Metroid it's not a bad game, but a few key design decisions kept it from being an NES classic. I really would have loved the ability to have a save point. You know, I hate those stupid passwords. But even more important than that, just an area where I could recharge my health would have went a long way to making the game better, because one of the parts I really hate about the original Metroid is just trying to recharge your health. You have to sit over one of those pits that constantly respawn enemies and hope they drop health, and it's just tedious, to be perfectly honest. And I think the game would have been a lot better if they just included a few areas where you could have recharged your health. Just my opinion though. I think the remake is it's better in pretty much every way. It adds more bosses, it adds more items to collect, it's a lot prettier, all the areas aren't just copy-pasted together, and I just think it's a much better game. If you're new to the series, I would recommend you play Zero Mission far before you play the original Metroid. I think the original Metroid it's just outdated, and it's just not a good game, so you know, I would not recommend it unless you are really into the series like I am. But even then, I would much rather play Zero Mission than the original game. Anyways, here we are in Crateria. There's really not that much in this area. All there is the power grip, and also I forgot to mention, we're also getting the plasma beam here. We can't use the plasma beam yet, but hey, we're getting it, so that's something, right? Might as well count it, I guess. We cannot use these 4 unknown items until the very end of the game. This one is the plasma beam. I would love to use the plasma beam now, but unfortunately it is incompatible with our current suit. So yeah, we can't exactly use it. But we'll be using it, I think in the very last part actually. Either the very last part or the second to last part. Not sure. Anyways. Yeah, so you gotta grab the plasma beam, which will allow you to break these strange blocks with the weird design on them. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be, but yeah. There really aren't that many enemies in this area. There's no bosses, there's not much to it. It's actually kind of boring and bland. But you do get the power grip, which is one of the new items that this game added. It allows you to grab onto ledges, which comes in handy in quite a few areas. It is required to beat the game, so you might as well grab it. In this area, you can use the infinite bomb jump to get out of this pit before all the platforms spawn, but I failed. I only got like halfway, so yeah. If you're good enough with the infinite bomb jump, you can get all the way out of that pit before the platforms even spawn, so fun fact for you. Once you get the power grip, there's no reason to be here anymore. You should just leave, and yeah, I don't know. It feels like an underdeveloped area to me. There's not much to it, but it's not, you know, the worst thing you've ever seen. It's not a terrible area. It's a nice addition to the game, but they could have did a little bit more with it to make it more a little bit more interesting, let's say. Anyways, with the power grip in hand, it's now time to go get the ice beam, which is by far, not by far, but it's one of the most useful items in the game. The ice beam, it's a godsend for some of the parts of this game, especially the final area, or not the final area, but we'll get to it in a moment. Or not a moment. Definitely not a moment. We'll get to it later on in the run, but the ice beam is such a handy tool. It's great for freezing enemies, as well as using those frozen enemies as platforms. It's really helpful for that. But yeah, just the ice beam, it's always one of the best items in any Metroid game. And the good news is, it is required for this run, so you have to get it, which is awesome. I wouldn't say it's my favorite beam power-up in the Metroid series. I would have to give that honor to the Plasma Beam, because the Plasma Beam is awesome, but the Ice Beam, it's a nice runner-up. Definitely a runner-up. Anyways, with the Ice Beam in hand, we can now... we don't have anything else to get in this segment. One thing I forgot to mention, there's a bunch of Chozo statues scattered throughout this game, and when you go into a Morph Ball, or when you go into their hands as a Morph Ball, sometimes they will tell you what area to go to next, but sometimes they won't. But every single time you enter them, they will recharge your health, and I believe your missiles as well, so definitely go into them whenever you get the chance. They're really helpful. I know right here there's like 2 of them right next to each other, but this one tells you where to go next, which sometimes you don't follow this in this run because they tell you to go get an item that we don't exactly need for this run, but in a normal playthrough, you should probably listen to what the Chozo statues are telling you to do. So yeah. That one told us to go visit Kraid and get the speed booster. Fortunately for us, the speed booster is not required to beat the game. However, we do have to kill Kraid. Once we beat him, we have to leave the speed booster there. We can't get it, because the speed booster, believe it or not, is not required. Anyways, this room is kind of tricky. There is a platform that will, or not a platform, one of the pieces of the floor in the earlier part of the room will collapse, and you have to avoid that, and you have to go through the secret passage up in the top right corner. But once you know it's there, it's not a big deal. Anyways, just save right here, and that concludes the second segment of the Metroid Zero Mission 9% run. I will see you all in part number 3.